Welcome to the 80th episode of the Friday Nightmares podcast. I am one half of your hosting team, Heather Powell, coming to you today from Waterdown, Ontario, Canada, also known as that bitch from Dummies of Horror, also known as the sidekick to this man.
Hello, everyone. It is Mr. Smoke Show Crawford coming to you from the town of Swartz Creek in the county of Genesee, in the state of Michigan, in the United States of America, in the North American continent, in the Western Hemisphere, on the planet Earth, in the Milky Way galaxy. I'm fully vaxxed, boosted, and waxed and ready to climax, and if you can, please get me wet and feed me after midnight. I'm the man with the glorious beard, a.k.a. Mother of Cats, a.k.a. the man with the humongous ego, a.k.a. Scotthausen, a.k.a. Scotty Too Hottie, a.k.a. not really the Golden God anymore, but I still like the name of it, a.k.a. Spanky.
Are you sure there's nothing else you have to add? You sure?
Not yet. Give me some time. We'll add some more down the road.
I'm going to add to my promo that I went to Europe.
Oh, that's how I quit the podcast.
Hey, I have to listen to your extended long promo. I want someone to time it. I suspect it's at least a minute. I suspect.
And I suspect that there's about 2 minutes of you talking about Europe every episode. So here we go.
I can't help it that I'm so cultured, Scott. It's not my fault that I'm so highly educated and familiar with the ways of the world. I know that that's hard for you to wrap your head around, but facts are facts. And speaking of facts are facts, I have to send you, have you heard of this guy that does a thing called puppy songs?
No, but I'm afraid to find out now.
Honestly, it's gone viral, and he does a couple of songs, and once you get them stuck in your head, one of them is called The Cheese Tax. And it's about having to give dogs cheese when you open up the cheese drawer. And the other one is called Big Stretch. I am going to send you these videos, and honestly, they are the cutest shit ever. You will send them to Erica because it is, George loves them, Amber and Ann love them. Everyone I have sent them to loves them. It is so cute. And this guy has like millions of followers now on Spotify. So it's obviously not just me. It's obviously popular, right? And it's super fucking cute. Like, dude, I cannot wait to share it with you. If you're having a sad day, you just need to watch this stuff and you're going to just be like, life is good. I'm going to pay the cheese tax.
Well, and the funny thing is, like you say the cheese tax, the funny thing is, Dexter doesn't give a two shits about me going in the fridge or anything like that. Like, I usually give him cheese when I'm trying to hide his medicine, but like he loves cheese. He also loves lettuce or cabbage leaves because he's a weird dog. Yeah, like I'll give him a full cabbage leaf and he'll just devour the whole thing.
He's like a vegan.
Yeah. But no, the cheese tax has to be given to Biff, my cat.
Oh, you pussy. Yeah, pussies for you. They always want more, don't they?
Oh, always. But yeah, I have to get, it's a cheese tax, it's a ground beef tax, it's a ground turkey tax.
I remember that, because I remember years ago I made tacos at your house. Years ago. And I remember like the cat. I had to like fight the cat off because he kept trying to get to the beef. I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, like if it's raw ground beef, he just loses his goddamn mind. It's freaking hilarious.
It's like he's in Raw.
Yeah, exactly.
We have to tie in horror movies. So like I was listening to our last episode because I wanted to like make sure that I didn't repeat myself. I do anyway, so it doesn't really matter, but I try. And we try. I realize we talk a lot of stuff, but we try to like pull it back to horror once in a while as we're chatting away. We try. It doesn't always work, but we try. I make fun of Tim a lot, or I talk about how hot he is. It's one or the other with him. Mm-hmm. I've realized that.
And Rob Humphrey.
Oh, Rob. But yeah. And like honestly, people probably think I'm a bully, which I am. So it's a good assumption to make.
Well, if they also heard the Dummies of Horror, they would hear Tim's a bully to you. So.
Well, he hates women, obviously. I feel very bad for his wife, and I don't even understand how he got a fucking prize like that, really. You know, talk about hitting out of your league. But As I'm all like, I
shit.
can't look at you because you're too hot, Tim. You don't trust anything I say. I'm just one big walking contradiction. But 2023's Hallelujah Save Us have gotten better this time around.
Yeah, for the most part, they have.
Right? Like, it has gotten better. And despite what people seem to think about me liking every single film that comes out, just because I have kind things to say, because unlike some people, I'm a constructive person.
No, you're gaslit. That's what it is. 2023 is gaslit
Yes.
you over and over again.
It was like we're a Sesame Street episode. And the word of the day is gaslit.
Or be like Pee Wee Herman. And the word of the day is gaslit. Ah!
Pee Wee Herman. I never really liked the show. I was never really a fan as a
Nope,
kid.
I wasn't either.
Yeah, I thought it was weird.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of Pee Wee as a character. The actor himself, Paul Rubin, I like.
Oh, I don't. Has he been in a lot of other things?
He's been in quite a few. He was in the Buffy the Vampire series, not the series, the movie. He was one of the vampires in that.
Oh, really?
Yep, he
Oh,
was in
shit.
one of the. I think he was in the Cheech and Chong movie that we watched for It's Not Horror.
Yeah. Oh, back in the day when we used to do more than one podcast
Mhm.
together.
And yeah, he's been in quite a few other things. It's hard to notice him because he doesn't obviously look like Pee Wee Herman, so it's hard to recognize him sometimes.
Oh, word. Yeah, I didn't know he was in all that. That's interesting. Things you learn from Scotty. I'm going to learn much more because Scotty's coming up here soon.
That's right. Well, by the
We're
time
going to be reunited again.
Well, by the time anybody hears this, we'll have already gotten together.
Well, don't we have one more episode before this one in the
That's what I'm
holster?
saying. Like, yeah, the one before this will be like released right before I leave.
Oh, got it. Yes.
And then this one will get released that short, like a week or two after I get back.
So everyone will see the pictures. So basically, it will be like going back in time to hear us talking about meeting up with each other. And then everyone will see the pictures that we'll share of us being together.
And guys, I'll say, like, this is future Scott talking. Oh my God, it was an amazing trip, but holy hell, Canada has gone insane because of the maple leafs. Oh dear God, it's like a freaking chaos over there. It's like a freaking end of world scenario apocalypse happening.
Yeah, well, they've lost 2 games in a row at this point, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know. There could be a lot of sad, mopey Canadians or Torontonians or Ontario-tonians walking around. I don't know. I'm surprised they made it to round 2. Not that we're going to talk a lot about hockey here because I don't think a lot of people watch hockey, and how vomity Canadian is it for me to talk about hockey? I might as well start talking about fucking Tim Hortons and Stompin' Tom Connors. Gordon Lightfoot died. I might as well go on about that too while I'm at it. Recca Edmund Fitzgerald, rest in peace, Gordon Lightfoot. But yeah, I'll try not to be vomity talk about it because, yeah, we'll see. It will be interesting if they continue on when you're here, because that means they'll be going to round 3. And if they go to round 3, I think this whole province is going to just freak the fuck out, especially the GTA, Greater Toronto area, for those who are...
Oh, Grand Theft Auto?
Yeah. For Rob Humphreys, who doesn't know anything, and for Tim Davis, who at least lives in Australia and may not be familiar, which makes sense. Yeah, so... Yeah, but Rob Humphreys is like, I don't know where anything is past the tray. I have no idea. Obviously. Every single fucking time, Rob.
And he does it on purpose, too.
It's because he goes to music festivals that are done by 6. He's like, what time is the last band on? 4? Perfect. I can make early bird dinner and go home and go to bed. But yeah, we've actually watched some really good 2023. So why don't we just jump into it? Do you want to take the first one? Take it.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Did you watch it? You watched it, right? You liked it too.
Yeah, I just had to pull up the Google sheet real quick.
I wasn't sure. Oh, sorry. I wasn't sure. I remember I was unsure if you were going to like this one because you don't like plot holes all of a sudden, or you don't like characters making bad decisions in horror movies. All of a sudden, you've decided that like any horror movie that has someone making a bad decision is unacceptable. So I wasn't sure if you would like this.
Oh, for fuck's sakes. No,
it's true though. Now all of a sudden you're all like, well, I think that was a dumb decision that they did that. I'm like, Scott, every fucking horror movie has a dumb decision in it. That's why.
Yes, but some decisions sometimes can make sense. The ones that I was bitching about don't make sense.
And you think okay.
I want to hear you're gaslit. Remember this. That's why everyone thinks that you like everything, because you're like, no, it wasn't that bad.
Hey, that's what I listen. That's what I say after every single Dummies of Horror episode. Well, that wasn't that bad. Or Slasher Radio. Oh, that wasn't that bad. That's why I keep listening to them. Anyway, let's talk about Tank. Enough about me.
All right, so yeah, the first movie we're going to talk about is The Tank. In 1978 Oregon, Ben and Jules inherit an abandoned coastal property from Ben's late mother, who's never mentioned it. The untouched house has been kept a secret for 40 years and comes with a beautiful private cove and beach. Jules searches for answers while Ben unwittingly awakens a fiercely protective creature. So, if you don't get it from the synopsis, this is a creature feature, and I'm all about creature features. Especially.
10 out of 10 from Scott.
No, I think I gave it a 6. But yeah, like I thought this was done well. It was a bit long in the tooth. The runtime could have been shorter because it was an hour and 40 minutes, and like I felt the runtime a bit here and there, but like. I thought the acting was decent, and the creature effects I thought were really freaking cool and a unique creature. And I am getting a look from Heather, so I can't wait to hear her thoughts. But all around, I thought this was decent enough. That's worth like $1.99, $2.99 rental for me.
Okay, we need to stop telling people that because this movie is not going to go for $1.99, $2.99.
Well, that just gives the people an idea of where we're at.
That's where Scott's at. Okay, this movie, I don't understand how he didn't have a problem with the decisions. Okay, so first of all, this family runs a pet store, and I just want to say, I don't care if this sounds like a spoiler. Who the fuck took care of the pet store for the rest of the time they were gone? Who?
Well, if they're the
took care
owners,
of the pet store.
They're the owners, so they probably had other people working underneath them.
But they didn't explain that, Scott. They
don't need to explain that. It's not like they walked into the Texas Chainsaw Massacre house and goes,
Okay, let's talk about their house. Okay. This is a little bit of spoiler for Tank, everybody. It happens in the first 15 minutes. So they pull up to the house and there's a log blocking the driveway. Then they walk up and the house is covered in fucking vegetation. They have to pull off the vegetarian to get in. You're going to tell me that makes sense. But staying in some trailer trash house that your fiance's apparently owns and you don't want to piss him off, that makes less sense. But if you showed up to a vegetation house, you'd be like pulling that shit off. You and Erica would be like, yeah, babe, it's fine. Let's just pull these fucking stuff.
I myself wouldn't. But someone that is all about like fixing up a house to try to sell it would stay there to fix it up to try to sell it. I know people that have done that.
Selective knowledge. I think Barry the Bride, you were just a cranky bear. And Erica agreed with me. She also thinks it's awesome. She said so.
She did not say it was awesome.
Actually, her quote was, Heather, you truly have the superior taste to Scott as a podcaster.
I'm sure she questions your taste and probably thinks you're gaslit just like me.
She's like, fuck, these two are gaslit. Maybe I should get some help. That being said, I did find that the movie moved quickly. The writing was a little cringe, but the creature effect and the setting did make up for it. It was entertaining enough. But I have a hard time justifying a rental for this one unless you really, really love creature features.
That's why I'm saying $1.99. That's why I'm saying $1.99, $3.99.
Yeah, like that would be high, and it's a shame because I was actually excited for this one. I thought it was going to be kind of a lot better than it actually was.
Same. I was looking forward to seeing it, and yeah, it was fine.
Right. So it's available in Canada on iTunes, Google Play, Hoopla, Microsoft Store, YouTube. Does it say when it's available in the States, Scott? Is this on Hulu or something?
Hoopla, iTunes, Google Play, Vudu, Amazon.
Okay, same shit, different countries. So there is The Tank. Now, did you watch this next one on the Chati?
No, I did not. You told me, no, Brandon told us he wasn't a big fan of it. And I haven't bothered with it yet.
Brandon Orlick, formerly of the Exploding Heads Movie Podcast. This is the most recent drop on the Chati, From Black. Darkness is coming. A young mother who is crushed by guilt and shame after the disappearance of her young son 5 years previously is offered a bizarre opportunity to learn the truth and set things right. Is she willing to pay the terrifying price for a chance to hold her boy again? I liked it. I thought it was decent. It's Very similar to another movie that came out that we've covered on this podcast. I won't give the name of it, but very similar. Do I think it's the best movie to come out on Shudder so far this year? No, I think Kids vs. Aliens still is probably my top pick. Did I like this story? Very much so. Did I like the acting? Very much so. Do I think it's worth a watch on Shudder? Very much so. I think most people will give it between 3 and 5 stars, depending on their preference. It's a pretty quick moving film. Even at 110 minutes, I wasn't bored at any point. The acting is quite good. Yeah, if you got the Shuddy, I don't see why not. It's available on all the Shutters, AMC Plus, AMC Plus, both Canada and United States, and DirecTV in the US. And yeah, if you got Shudder and you're paying for it, this is definitely one of the more interesting films that have come out. I don't know if I would tell people that they have to go out and watch it. I think Tim Davis might connect with this one a little bit because he does have children and it is about a child. But yeah, I liked it. I thought it was entertaining. I think you should check it out.
Nice. Yeah, I'll probably be watching that like soon, just because we're gonna have a little extra time before the next recording. So I'll knock out a few that we've talked about that, and then newer ones, obviously.
Like as a Shudder watch, I'm trying to watch all the Shudder ones unless they look absolutely fucking dreadful. And honestly, I would say this one was good. I liked it for what it was.
Yeah.
Now, sorry, go ahead.
I think the only ones I'm missing right now is Unheard and this.
Oh, it's not too bad.
Yes, I've been keeping up on them.
That's good because we're very important podcasters with our very important award show that's going to be coming up, Scott.
Oh, 100%.
Very important indeed. Now, have you seen this next one?
Yeah, the next one's mine. The one you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I've watched it.
You watched Beau Was Afraid?
Oh, wait. What am I looking at? Oh, I skipped over. My bad. Sorry.
That's why
You're
I put
right.
that up. Cause but
You are correct.
I was gonna say, I'm like, wait a minute, you didn't talk to me about this?
No, and I did not watch it yet.
All right, so yeah,
And before you continue, Scotty, you've been called out on this. I think you need to about it not being a horror movie.
Yes. Well, and I wasn't even being called out on it because our friend Craig Wooten also agrees that it's a horror film. He was just curious to see what other people thought too. Because him and I were having a discussion back and forth about it after I seen it. But yeah, so the movie is Beau Was Afraid, which is Ari Aster's third film, and the synopsis is: a paranoid man embarks on an epic odyssey to get home to his mother. Very simple synopsis that's not spoiling anything. Stars Joaquin Phoenix, and it's 179-minute runtime, so almost 3 hours exactly. So yes, I will get into this topic first before I get into my thoughts, but a lot of people are saying this isn't horror, and I can see why people would not consider it horror, just because it's very, very, very different from Hereditary and Midsommar, which were blatantly horror films, like straight up, those are horror. This one, I went into it expecting not to have it on my horror movie watch list. I just went to go see it because it's Ari Aster, and I fucking love everything he's done so far. But as I'm watching this, there are certain things in this that I'm going, yeah, this is horror to me. Because for one, there are certain things that, whether they are really happening or they are just in Beau's head, are kind of horrific and kind of terrifying. I would, Luffy from Dummies of Horror put it very compared it to another movie that I think is very apt, and that is I think it's Darren Aronofsky's Mother. That one has that same kind of feel, kind of like Black Swan, and another one that I was trying to think of, and a lot of David Lynch films where it's very just kind of cerebral, and you could take it or leave it as horror or not. It's basically labeled as a dark drama comedy, but yeah, I left the theater saying to my friend, yeah, I think this is horror because the only people I see going to see this movie are either horror fans of Ari Aster's work just in general, or the more cinephiles that love like the more artistic stylings of Ari Aster's movies that will watch anything. I don't see this being like a regular audience. I don't see somebody that just loves comedy going to see this. I don't see anybody that just loves dramas going to see this. This definitely is more like us horror nerds like that would try to go see this. And my thoughts on it, I fucking loved it. This movie hurt my head. Like, it's so crazy. It is 3 hours long, and the only part I would say is it kind of drags little in the middle, but I couldn't think of anything that could be cut from the film. Like, everything seems like it's there for a reason to help the story go along. But it is so fucking trippy. It is intense in moments. Like, it is like being in the head of somebody that has severe, debilitating social anxiety. And as we know with Ari Aster, he is great with getting emotions out of his characters and portraying anxiety, especially from Midsommar, really, really well. And yeah, I felt the way this was done, like this was someone that had some sort of mental illness, and just you were suffering along with him, and also just kind of like wondering what the fuck is going on, just like he was. And man, the acting in this is absolutely incredible. It is shot amazingly. The second act has this very trippy, do not take shrooms while going to the theater to see this type situation in it. Or do, because it was very pretty and just but like, man, this movie just hit everything for me. Ari Aster has done no wrong. Like, this man just nails it again for me. Like, I was telling Heather that, I want her to see this. I'm not sure she's going to like it, but it's one of those movies where I'm going to tell anybody, even if I think they don't like it, they need to see it to experience it. It is a fucking wild ride. But
Wow.
This is fighting for my number one right now.
That's impressive. And I'm glad you gave such a detailed review of it, because I think it's important to look at films a little more objectively at times, and I think you did a good job of doing that with this one. I think sometimes people will see something and they'll be like, well, it's not this or that, it doesn't make it horror. And we have always said from day one on this podcast that we are not the horror police. Exactly. And that there are pretty little patience for people who think they are. Because really, at the end of the day, like, and I've had some people get lippy with me and be like, well, what if someone calls, like, Bambi a horror film? I'm like, well, I guess it could be if, like, you have trauma from your parents being killed. Like, I just don't see the need to fight with people about it. You know what I mean? Like, if that's what you consider a horror movie, like, if someone says to me, is it horror enough? I'll say, it depends on the person I'm talking to.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, well, for you, it probably isn't. So yeah, don't, right? Like, to me, that's fine. You can absolutely have your own definitions, but other people don't have to follow it. Right? Like, that's kind of how it is. So I'm glad you provided that. I will probably go watch it, probably not in the theaters. Right. That's a little long in the tooth for me to sit in the theaters. But I'm interested to see what happens.
This is a high recommend for me for anybody that is a cinephile fan of just anybody, a fan of cinephile and a fan of anything Ari Aster. Like, definitely go see this. And just because, it is like one of the most beautiful films I've seen in a very long time. It is just so well done.
You know, every time we do this podcast, you're one of the most beautiful things I've seen in a long time.
Oh, you.
What do you think now, Phil Ray? Did we stir the pot a little bit? Just Scott and I being like, have you seen any good 2023s? Have you? Or Ghost Haunting being like, have you seen good movies?
Where's the good movies at?
And they wandered the earth looking for good 2023s to watch.
Heather's in the corner. Heather's watching everybody watch these movies. She goes, I like this one. And I'm like, damn it, Heather, stop it.
Stop gaslighting everybody, Heather. The next movie. All right, sorry. Can I move on to the next one?
Yeah, I'm done.
Beau Was Afraid is only available in theaters right now, unless I don't think it's on VOD. Is it?
No, I looked and it's not. It's okay. I don't think it's going to be in theaters long though, because I think there's only 2 run times, and it's unfortunately it's competing against like movies such as Evil Dead Rise, Renfield, and Mario. And with Mario, everything's losing to Mario just because it's freaking Mario and like big family movie type thing.
Yeah, I guess you don't really take the kids to go see Beau Was Afraid. That's true.
Right, and then Guardians of the Galaxy 3 comes out this weekend, so it's just gonna get pushed out of theaters really fast. Man, which is unfortunate.
Big times. Well, better for me because then it moves to DVD or video on demand. DVD. I don't buy DVDs or Blu-rays.
Yeah, you don't buy.
What the fuck are we kidding? Anyway, the one I'm going to talk about is the most recent Hulu drop, or Disney Plus here in Canada, which is Clock. It's a countdown for a reason. On the eve of her 38th birthday, a woman desperately attempts to fix her broken biological clock. This is a very interesting film. Pregnancy is a very big theme this year. And this film is more about not wanting to have a baby and people thinking there's something wrong with you. Now, there's certain parts of this film that are quite accurate. There's some conversations that are had, and as a female who has chosen not to have children, but yet likes children very much so and likes to be around them, I get a lot of interesting comments too. I've got comments like, well, it's not too late for you. And I'm like, well, actually, yes, it is. It is too late for me. I do not want to have an infant. And that's fine if someone chooses to at 40. That is just not a choice I'm going to make.
Right.
And, I think a lot of people don't know I was pregnant at one time and I miscarried when I was married. And that was very traumatic for me. And, I think we should be careful when we ask people these questions because we don't always know their history, right? But I found this movie quite interesting. I got the message it was trying to portray. It's a Hulu film, so I always have a little bit of lower expectations of the Hulu films.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I think Hulu usually nails it out of the park, especially last year. They nailed it.
Some of the films were come see, come saw.
Like, they're into the dark stuff. I definitely agree with, but...
Yeah, like, that's what I'm thinking. That, and, like, remember the one about the phones that came out last year with the parents? And, like, the kids?
Oh, yeah.
Like, that kind of stuff, right?
And I'm thinking Hellraiser.
Oh, yeah, Hellraiser was great, but, like, Hellraisers are, that's, like, a higher bar on Hulu. This is what I would say is what you would expect on Hulu. Right. So I think if you're a female, particularly if you're a female who's chosen not to have children and is a horror fan, I think you'll really dig this film. Otherwise, I don't think it's really worth a watch. To be honest with you, I don't think most men will get it. And I don't mean that condescendingly. I just don't think it's made for men. I think it's geared towards women who either have felt pressured into having a baby or maybe had children and they're not really sure if they wanted to or they don't want kids. I think it's a pretty small group of people that are going to enjoy this film. So that being said, if you sound like you fall into that criteria, no, Tim Davis, don't watch it. I don't want to hear you fucking complain about it on your show. Oh, anyway. So it's called Clock. It's on Hulu. If you have a Hulu subscription or Disney Plus, and what I said sounds like something you would dig, go ahead. If not, then I would say skip over this one.
Fair enough. And I think the next one is you as well.
Oh, you didn't see Fear?
Not yet.
Okay. So Fear, your mind is a trap. God.
Oh, it's a trap, all right.
A group of friends gather for a much-needed weekend getaway at a remote historical hotel. The celebration turns into terror as one by one each of the guests face their own worst fear, being gaslit! Just kidding. It's not about gaslight. Well, I guess it kind of is about gaslighting. Actually, it is. Huh. This movie is okay. If you like isolation horror with some supernatural sprinkle in, you know what? You'll enjoy this movie for what it is. Honestly, Scott, I don't think it's a 1.4 rating on Letterboxd. I don't think it deserves a 1.4 rating. I don't think it's that bad at all. Like, yeah, there's some dumb decisions that they make in it, and yeah, there's some dumb things that happen, but the concept in it is interesting enough. The setting is interesting enough. The characters are likable enough. I think that, for my guilty pleasure of enjoying isolation horror with a little bit of razzle dazzle, I had a good time with this movie. Now, mind you, we have a screener, so definitely watching it for free is ideal. Would I pay for it? I don't know. If you really, really like isolation horror, sure. But I don't think this is one that you need to run out and rent. But if you can find it for free, I would recommend that. And it is on DirecTV and Amazon Video.
Nice, yeah, because I watched the trailer to this one when I was scrounging trying to find 2023's way back in the beginning. And I seen this one pop up that it was coming out soon. So I watched the trailer and it looked interesting enough. So yeah, I was waiting for this one to pop up somewhere for me to watch it. So I'm going to definitely check it out. You know
who one of the actors are in it? Who I actually really like, this rapper, is T.I.
I don't know who he is. I've heard of him, but I don't.
T.I.'s a pretty well, and he's actually talked down like 3 people that were trying to commit suicide.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's been in like 3 different situations where he's talked people off of literally off of ledges.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah,
wow,
yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah, and he's not bad in this. Like, and also the chick that was played in Happy Death Day, the roommate, that ended up being
Oh,
the
okay.
roommate of. Yeah, she's in it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, like honestly, the acting was like I don't know. I'm not gonna like I don't know. 1.4 stars seems really like low to me. Like I don't think it's that bad. You know, I'm gonna be like, oh man, best film of the year, but like I don't think it's that shitty. But I don't know if you can watch it for free, watch it for free.
Yeah, I'll say that'll definitely be one I'll check out.
Yeah, and you've seen the next one?
Yep. So the next one is one that I've watched called
Yes.
yeah, because you haven't watched this yet, have you?
No, I haven't watched it. No.
Okay. So this one is called Beyond the Neon. Girls direct to you in 20 minutes. Based on true accounts, a Las Vegas escort is recognized by her sister in a viral social experiment video. Looking to reunite the sisters and secretly motivated to capture the reunion on camera, Joey and his apprehensive crew are thrown into the dangerous and corrupt world of escorting, documenting every step of their desperate effort to rescue the woman from human sex trafficking in Las Vegas. So I started this one a while ago, and I just wasn't feeling it, so I turned it off. And I'm glad I went back to it, because last week I kind of was, all right, I'm going to go back to these ones that I've started before, and just, because I started them, why not? I'm glad I went back to this one, because holy shit, like, this is a heavy ass watch, because it's done in the mockumentary style filmmaking from found footage, and yeah, it kind of just dives into like what it's like to be an escort in Las Vegas and the dangers of being sex trafficked, because yeah, there is a lot of that goes on that no one really knows about, because it's legal in Vegas to be an escort. Unfortunately, there are people that take advantage of that, capture women and force them to do this type of stuff and make them money. This was a really fucking heavy film. This is real life horror. And like I'm glad I watched it, because like I felt the acting was all pretty good, and it honestly felt like I was really watching a true documentary. Some of the things that these filmmakers were doing towards the third act seemed a little bit of a stretch, like putting themselves in as much danger as they did. But I mean, it's not totally unbelievable either. But yeah, this is one that I told Heather, I'm like, this will probably be a very uncomfortable watch, but I recommend checking it out just because like it will definitely probably land in a couple of our awards for like, real, little too real type category, because this felt a little too fucking real.
I saw a clip for a human trafficking movie years ago, because my friend Anne used to be part of a human trafficking prevention coalition here in Ontario, and I went as a fundraiser and like to raise money to help get women and men out of human trafficking. And they showed a clip from this movie, and it was like an acted film, and it was fucking disgusting. Like I think people don't get that human trafficking wouldn't exist if there wasn't a demand for it.
Right.
And the people that are getting it are not these sleazy guys that you think they are. Lots of rich white businessmen are doing it. Mm-hmm. So you know what I mean? It's a bigger issue. But so yeah, I will definitely watch it, and I appreciate you bringing it to the table, because that is real life horror, Yeah,
like this one, I don't think a lot of people would in our horror community would watch just because like it's real life horror, not like the
not
monsters
fantasy.
And yeah. But yeah, this one is definitely like it made me uncomfortable during some scenes. So I can only
sounds
imagine.
like something Tim Davis will enjoy.
Good Lord.
Same with Rob Humphreys.
But you can find this. It is available to rent on Amazon, iTunes, Google Play, Vudu, and Amazon Video.
Booyah, Scotty. Excellent. The next one I'm going to talk about is You're Killing Me. One of you knows something. Eden goes to the Heaven and Hell party hoping to get a letter of recommendation to an elite university from the wealthy parents of her classmate, but the party quickly turns into a fight for her life. Did you watch this?
Not yet. I tried watching it today, but I kept getting an error message every time I tried.
Oh man, this is a recommend from me. I really enjoyed this film. If you liked, a couple of years ago, there was a movie called The Babysitter, I think it was, the one that we saw where the babysitter, like the babysitter must die or something like that.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, right? So it kind of reminded me a little bit of that. It kind of reminded me a little bit of the one, the Invasion one, You're Next.
Okay, yeah.
Like, it was fucking awesome. Whoever this young lady is, Michaeli Miller, fuck yeah, it was great. I really, really enjoyed this. It's about 95 minutes long, so just over an hour and a half. It's fun. There's some great gore in it. You're kind of guessing throughout what characters are going to do. Definitely this woman is, for this main character, is nominated for me as someone you can get behind and root for. She just makes good decisions, generally speaking. And I guess some people would argue on some of her decisions, but she does ethical good decisions. We'll leave it at that. And she was fucking great. So I recommend any price to rent this. I really, really did like it. Even to you, Tim Davis, I think you might actually like this. At least have fun with it. It's available on iTunes, Google Play, Amazon Video, Microsoft Store, YouTube, and to me, this is a must-watch this year. This is a VOD that probably people will skip over, and I think it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, this is one I'm, like, obviously I was trying to watch earlier, so this is one I'll definitely be checking out.
Yeah, honestly, Scotty, this is a must-watch for this year. I really think, I'm not like, it's the best film ever, but I think it's enjoyable. It's probably in my top 10 right now.
Nice.
That's how much I liked it, but I do think people will at least, at the minimal, enjoy it.
Hell yeah. All right, so I guess I can jump onto the next one. We both watched this one. This is The Sound of Silence. And it's, just Sound of Silence.
Yeah,
Don't let them hear you. After her father ends up in the hospital, Emma flies back from New York to her hometown in Italy and stays at her parents' home. All alone in the house, she faces an evil entity that is connected to a cursed radio. Emma will have to unveil the dark secret behind the radio to survive the night and protect the ones she loves. With a runtime of 93 minutes. At first, I was not feeling this film. Like, it just felt like your typical supernatural. Like, I thought everything about it was good, like, acting-wise, but the story just wasn't grabbing me at first. But then I finished it off today, and yeah, I dug this one. It was ended up being a really good ghost story. I like the kind of like the reveal of what happened, like, in the past to this ghost and why it's connected to this radio and everything that happens, like, and yeah, this may win a couple awards for me. It wasn't like, because everyone knows me, I'm not a big fan on like the supernatural ghosty stuff. I enjoy them, but they're usually not something like, oh my god, I absolutely love it. But yeah, this one was a 7 out of 10 for me. I found it to be very enjoyable. Like, it had some very creepy moments to it and found it to be intense.
I agree with you. This is a jump scare. I know we have Insidious coming out later this year, which is also jump scare city, but this was great. I thought it was quite enjoyable as well too, Scott. I think the poster art doesn't give it justice. I think this is actually a really good movie. It doesn't have a super long runtime at 93 minutes. It's entertaining. There's parts of it that are maybe a little cheesy, but nothing that takes you out of it. Like, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for what it was. I think this is a good watch, and for us up here, it's available on iTunes, Google Play, Cineplex, Microsoft Store, YouTube. Is it the same for you?
Yes, except for Cineplex, obviously.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's available to rent on Spectrum On Demand for us.
Nice. I think this is worth, honestly, any rental. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I'd say it was worth like the $3.99, $5.99 rental for sure.
Yeah, I thought it was fabulous. If you like ghost stories and, I don't know, you want something that's quick and easy, some jump scares, be prepared for jump scares, though. It's very jump scary. Yeah. So know that walking into it. It's a jump scare movie. So, if you don't like jump scares, then don't watch it. Tim Davis.
I would say, like, the jump scares in this were not obvious.
No, but there was a lot.
Like, they were majority of them were well earned, I thought.
I would agree, but there's a lot.
Yeah, there are. Yeah.
Right. And people like Tim Davis doesn't like jump scares because he doesn't like any movies because he just watches NWO from 2000s. So the next movie, did you watch this one? It's on a Good Friends Plex.
Not yet. This is one I was reading about, and I'm very curious to hear your thoughts.
So I believe this is a Thai film, The Ancestral. So after the hour is coming. After suffering a family tragedy, a widower named Tan moves his 2 daughters to century-old ancestor home. Both daughters fall prey to sleep paralysis and night terrors. Their father seeks the help of a local psychologist, but chilling secrets and visions eventually prove that all is not what it seems in this old family house. This really confused me a little bit. It kind of went in different directions, but overall I did find it entertaining. Some pretty poor CGI is used in this, but I thought the story was interesting. But the ending kind of lost me a little bit. So I'm unsure of how I feel about this one. I know you haven't seen it yet, and it's a shame that you didn't get a chance to because it'd been interesting to hear your thoughts on it. I do think the two daughters are quite likable. Honestly, I think they make the movie very watchable, the two of them and their interactions with each other. And I think it's a good discussion on sleep paralysis and night terrors and the impact that they have. And I think that was really well done. It was just the ending that kind of left me being like, huh? What happened? But if you're interested in ghost stories and you really like Thai films and foreign films, it is available on Vudu, Hoopla, Microsoft Store. I'll get the other ones here, a Screenbox, and Amazon Video. If you are interested.
Yeah, I was saying our good friend Donna Nelly from Fresh Cuts and the Top 10 Horror List. I forget the name of his podcast, but I think it's Top 10s. He really liked this movie.
Did he? Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
But yeah, I am going to talk about the next one, which was another theatrical release that just hit VOD this week. And that is Renfield. Sucks to be him. Having grown sick and tired of his centuries as Dracula's lackey, Renfield finds a new lease on life and maybe even redemption when he falls for feisty, perennially angry traffic cop Rebecca Quincy. This is the Nicolas Cage starring Renfield, the one where he plays Dracula. And we've all seen the trailers probably a million times at this point. And I was like, okay, they're probably showing most of the jokes and most of the good stuff in the trailer, but I still wanted to see it because I am a sucker for anything Nicolas Cage. I just think he is a great actor. Even when he's hamming it up ridiculously, he's always just fun to watch. Yeah, I was not disappointed at all with this. He does a great job as Dracula. It is a very well done horror comedy with the good, perfect mix of the horror, the gore, and the comedy. And everyone in this film just does a fantastic job. I forget the other guy's name from the menu. Let me look that up real quick here. Nicholas Hoult. From Warm Bodies and the menu and a couple other things. I just thought this movie was just so much fun. I was laughing. I was just entertained throughout the entire thing. And I recommend anybody to go check this movie out because it unfortunately was another one that didn't do too well in theaters. But that is also, once again, because Mario has been dominating theaters. So it's just not getting the attention that it deserved. So I recommend anybody to just watch this because this is worth any rental price to me. This is high up there on my list. And I know our good friend Dave Bailey absolutely loved it as well.
Well, you know me, I didn't really want to see it because I think I got tired of the previews and the trailers over and over again, but I will give it a shot because you praised it so much. Not because of Dave. Dave's too smart because Dave also liked another movie that
I'm not quite sure what
it is. Yeah, okay. How would you say this?
I would say Ennies
Men. 2023. A wildlife volunteer on an inhabited island off the British coast descends into terrifying madness that challenges her grip on reality and pushes her into a living nightmare. A lot of people maybe will like this film. I was not one of them. It is filmed like a 1973 film, which is cool. It was filmed during COVID, so they had a very low carbon footprint, probably because they didn't do much in this movie. This is considered experiential horror filmmaking. So the year of Skinamarink and the year of Outwaters and the year of this film. I found it boring. I found it too artistic. I did not get it. It's based on this woman finding flowers and going crazy because of the flowers, and it just wasn't for me. I will give it credit that it was filmed really, really well. I love the 1973 lens they used for it. I think it's cool what they did with a little bit of money, but this film bored me to tears. I got 20 minutes in and I was like, this is not a Heather film. This was a mistake. And I kept watching it because I was like, well, we're recording tonight and this is one of the few most wanted films or talked about films that is coming out. And I don't know if people are liking this because they truly get it, because it's different, or because they want to be different, or they just really like red jackets. So
Dave Bailey.
yeah, that's for you, Dave. To each their own. If you dug this shit, awesome. You could not pay me to watch this movie again.
Oh, wow.
I found it that boring. But if for some reason you were a Skinamarink fan, or maybe you liked Outwaters a lot, like Scott's like, oh, I like Lamb, and what was the other things he suggested? The Lighthouse. I'm like, I would rewatch The Lighthouse back to back 3 times in a row before I would watch this again.
And that's saying a lot.
And I liked Lamb. I thought it was I thought it was weird, but it was interesting enough. Like, there's no dialogue in this. I understand there's a power to not having dialogue, but it doesn't work for me. It just doesn't work for me, right? Like, I can't, if I want to watch a fucking silent film, I'll go back and watch some black and white shit with music to it, okay? Like, I'm not going to watch this. I don't enjoy it. Not my thing. But obviously it's well liked out there. There's some people that like it. Rock on. But not for me. Not for Heathers.
Fair enough.
Yes.
Where can people find this if they want to?
Oh, fuck. Okay. On iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Cineplex, Microsoft Store.
You sound so defeated.
Probably, I don't know, fucking Shudder's going to pick this up next year. And it's going to be, oh my God, it's on Shudder. Oh my God. And they're going to, like, fucking jizz all over it. And then I'll be like, well, I didn't like it. They'll be like, oh, it's because you just didn't get it. That's why. And I'll be like, you're
Maybe
right.
You just need to watch more movies, Heather.
Maybe I just need to watch more movies because, and hey, I'm not saying anything was wrong with the film quality. The filming was great, and the acting from not saying anything was good. I do appreciate that people can act without using their voice, but I found this incredibly boring. Like paint drying, like how you felt about. I'm not sure. I think if someone said to you Skinamarink or this movie again, I would choose Skinamarink.
Oh God. Oh
yeah.
Boy.
Because at least with Skinamarink, I got what was going on. Enough, right? Like, I got that these kids were in this house and you weren't quite sure what was happening to them and they couldn't find the parents. I didn't understand what the fuck this woman was doing. If I hadn't known that she was a wildlife volunteer, I wouldn't know why she was there. She was like some woman fucking running around a field. Finding fucking flowers for an hour and a half. Like, I didn't really fucking understand having weird nightmares, being at church, but yet there's no one on the island. Like, it was the most confusing fucking shit. We would need to have Dave Bailey come on here and explain it. And me to be like, and then what? And he'd be like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, but why? But why? Like, honestly, out of all the artistic experimental horror films I've seen, this one, to me, I did not get. It went over my head. I didn't understand it. If you like it, that's awesome. Not for me. Not for Heathers.
Like Skinamarink did, or like I did for you with Skinamarink, where it made you curious enough to watch it. I think I almost have to watch this just to see.
Be prepared to be bored as fuck, though, Scotty. Like, this isn't The Lighthouse.
Yeah, I'll say I'm expecting it to be like, if you are comparing it to Skinamarink in that aspect, I'm expecting I'm not going to like it. But it's more or less, now I'm curious. I got to kind of just see.
Like, I will be shocked if you walk out of that movie and you tell me there's some cool, like, the thing that it's a saving grace here is the camera work and the cinematography. It is good. It is good. Right. It's cool that it's filmed like 1973 film. Like, that's cool. That's awesome. But in terms of plot and going what the fuck's going on, nah, makes zero sense. Zero.
And
I don't get this. Like, I don't get this fucking abstract art shit. Can we just, like, please, for the love of God, just have movies that like have some dialogue in it so I know what the fuck's happening. Please. I am a simple creature.
She's just a simple Heather.
And I don't understand. With my fucking master's degree, I don't understand. I think I could take this to my master's degrees at students and be like, hey, do you guys get this shit? They're like, no. I'm like, yeah, we're all done. We don't get this shit. I don't know. You have to take to a bunch of film students. I almost want to take this to the University of Guelph, sit down with the film students, show them and go, explain this to me. What the fuck does this movie mean? How does, unless I had read the synopsis, I would have no idea what to tell you, Scotty. If I read no synopsis, I'd be like, I don't know, some chick in a fucking red jacket ran around what looks like the British coastal line. I think she lived by herself, but I don't really know. And she like passed out at the end. Like I would have no concept. And she was obsessed with these like weeds that looked like shitty flowers. And there's a lot of fucking scenes of sunsets and fucking water and fucking rocks. The only reason I have any concept is because I read Wikipedia and IMDb to fucking figure out what's going on. So there you go, Tim Davis. I don't like every single fucking movie. You Aussie
Love it.
C word.
Yeah.
Tim's gonna go watch it now and be like, Heather, I got it. I'm sorry you're not smart enough to get it. And I'll be like, Tim, you're my hero.
And not all heroes wear clothes.
Some heroes watch this movie, like Dave Bailey. Thank you, Dave Bailey. Cemetery Gates podcast. Listen to Dave. Dave's really smart. Maybe he can fucking explain this film. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck this is. Can we please just go back to making movies with dialogue? Okay, this is not 1929, okay? We have created sound, all right? Nosferatu was great for its time, okay? It was great for its time. Phantom of the Opera, the original, great for its time. Awesome. Silent films, get it. We no longer need silent films, okay? We no longer need to stare at oceans and stare at rocks and have this symbolism in movies with absolutely no context, okay?
Oh.
We don't. Stop it. Please,
this is your cinema rink. I love this.
For the love of God, stop. Please.
Oh, I am loving this.
I can't take it anymore. If there's another experimental horror film that comes out that thinks it's so fucking clever this year with this shit, and then we're going to get people being like, oh, well, it was so much better than other films that came out last year. No, it's not. Okay, none of these experimental films have been better than the films that came out last year. There was someone that said it was better than, again, I keep forgetting because we watched so many movies. The one filmed in Michigan under the monster that lived under the houses. You loved it. I can't remember.
Barbarian.
Barbarian. There is no world where any of those fucking films outwater this film or Skinamarink were better than Barbarian. All right? There is no world where that exists. You may think they're better, but objectively they're not better. They're not.
Oh.
Your personal opinion can be that. That is fine. But if you step back and it's like when Scott and I will say something like we like Ankle Biters. We don't think that's a better film than what came out the rest of the year. We understand it's a low budget film that, it's speaking to a certain audience, or the pizza one that came out.
Super Hot.
So Super Hot. We understand that specific audience is going to like that kind of low budget. Scott and I will say we enjoyed it. Rent-A-Pal even. We understand. Or a game that we praised forever about the video game.
Live stream,
right? We loved that. We get it. But Scott and I don't walk around being like, oh man, that was better than one of the best horror movies. Like, that was better than Ari Aster's Midsommar. Like, we fucking live in reality, okay?
Right.
Like, we know what the difference is. And I'm really tired of people telling me that movies that are just filmed silently with metaphors and fucking shots of random shit is better. It's not. Give us dialogue in your fucking film so we know what's happening.
I love it.
And Shudder, stop picking up weird films that then everyone else has to watch and then pretend like they're super smart because they like it. Swear to God. You're not smarter because you like Skinamarink or this film. Except for Dave Bailey. Dave Bailey's brilliant. But everyone else, not. And if you liked it, knock your socks off. But
you better be careful there. It looks like your soapbox is about to fall over.
You hear me, though. I know you're going to watch this and you're going to fucking agree because of what you thought about Skinamarink.
Oh, I know. That's why I say, your hatred for it, you're, being so mind-blown by it. I'm just I kind of have to see it.
I'm mind-blown by people blowing it. I get it. You try I get it. You try something different. That's unique. Good for you. I get it. No problem. I do appreciate the risk you take when you try something different. I get it. But, I swear to God, you can't put some fucking dialogue in your film so people know what the fuck's happening?
Right?
Oh no, if you're smart enough, you'll figure out what? 2 kids have been stuck in a fucking house because their parents are shit and we should call CAS? I'm sorry, what was Skinamarink trying to communicate that we all couldn't figure out? So please, for the love of God, stop making these experimental horror films without some context. Please.
Oh, I'm loving this.
I know, it's Tim's always like, Heather likes every movie. Heather likes everything. Heather just turned heel on Friday Nightmares.
I think Heather finally realized 2023 has been trying to gaslight
You
her.
know,
She's
this is
had
what
enough.
happens is when you've been gaslit. Like, I was so excited. I was like, I'm going to watch this film. And, like, oh my God, like, everyone's praising it. And then I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And yet again, if you really enjoyed it, like, the cinematography, incredible. Same with Skinamarink. The cinematography, I know you're like, oh, I dropped my phone on the ground and it's art. But I will say it tried to do something different. Outwaters. Outwaters is on top of that because at least they had fucking dialogue.
Right?
Like, at least you got that there's a fucking found footage filming while they were there. At least you got that part.
Yeah, and something was going on.
Like, it's, to me, there's Outwaters is like not experimental horror. It's just like, oh, it's a little bit of a weird found footage.
Yeah.
Okay, right? Anyway. Don't watch this movie unless you're really, unless it comes to Shudder next year and you feel the need to show off. Rob Humphrey's like, I got this on my list right now. I'm gonna watch it as soon as we get off this call. As soon as I stop listening to the podcast.
No,
Heather, you said it was
Heather,
your
how she's
number
wrong.
one.
Yeah, he's gonna gaslight you into gaslight you.
I mean, honestly, stop gaslighting the experimental horror. Stop it. Not experiential. I'm thinking of my work at experiential learning.
No, I think it is considered experiential.
Is it?
Yeah, because they say it's an experience.
Oh, it's an experience, all right. It was an experience with my patients. All right, on to older watches.
All right, I could take this one to give you a break for a second.
You said word. I'm going to go back to talking about it.
No, just to give you a breather.
You know what it's like, Bret the Hitman Hart with Goldberg? I'll just be talking about some movie, and then I'll be like, I'm like Skinamarink.
Anyway. So yeah, we'll do the older watches, and so Erica and I did our To Be Tuesday like in person. We watched Dave Made a Maze, which was a very, very fun film. But the one I'm going to talk about is the one we ended up watching last night. We decided just to get together virtually and watch a movie. And it was one she recommended called Odd Thomas. And it was made in 2014, excuse me, and stars Anton Yelchin, rest in peace. The synopsis the tagline is, I might see dead people, but then, by God, I do something about it. And then the synopsis is, in a California desert town, a short order cook with clairvoyant abilities encounters a mysterious man with a link to dark, threatening forces. This is more, I would say, it's kind of a mix of things. It's a relationship, drama, horror, comedy. And I had such a great time with this. Anton Yelchin just does an amazing job, as always. And I found all the acting to be really good. Also stars Willem Dafoe as the chief of the police. And yeah, this was a very entertaining movie, like from start to finish. It's an hour and 40-minute runtime. I definitely recommend this if you haven't seen it yet. It did fucking hit me in the feels at the end where I actually started fucking having tears in my eyes. So it definitely got to the Scotty emotions a bit. But man, I just found this to be a lot of fun. The effects are pretty neat. Very fun little story. And yeah, I don't know what else to really say about this without spoiling anything. So I just say, like, go check this out if you haven't. It's just a lot of fun.
Thank you for sharing that, Scott. I just want to go back to my.
Oh God, don't.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
I got Mexican food to eat, woman. Hurry up.
You know, you were allowed to talk about Skinamarink. I'm allowed to be funny too.
I know.
I'm not about Scotty all the time. It's about Heather's. All right, I watched Jawbreaker in 1999. Have you seen it?
I have not.
Yeah, it's very much like a teen flick from 1999. It's basically about these chicks that prank this other chick, and she chokes and dies on a jawbreaker. Never happened to me because I could deep throat like a fucking champ. But that jawbreaker would just slide its ass right back down to my tummy.
Oh dear Lord.
They'd be like, Heather, I thought you were gonna die. I'm like, I've been taking talks for a long time, girls.
For fuck's sakes.
I can handle a fucking ball in my mouth. Anyway. It's fun. It's a fun little movie. I don't know if you really love 1990 like fun shit. It's a good one. Who stars in it? Rose McGowan, Julie Benz, Judy Greer, Rebecca Gayheart. Yeah, it's fun. It's a really fun little film. Glad I got to see it. It's a good little dark comedy, but you really gotta love like, oh my God, Billy Girl. I like Judy Greer in this. Honestly, steals the show as the nerd that becomes a hot chick, and then like the revenge that gets taken on everyone. It's fun. So if you're looking for something fluffy that has dialogue, you can definitely watch this film. So
awesome.
What's new
Oh, not much. What's up with you?
Scotty is coming.
Yay. Oh, I'm coming all right.
And we are going to go to the Hermitage Mansion. And according to Ghost Fandom, this is a level 3 haunting, manipulation of objects. So the background is the Hermitage was a very large and impressive house, but was destroyed by a fire in the 1930s, and it's now a ruin. Only the walls of the building remain. There's no roof, and inside is scattered with rubble. Prior to the fire, the mansion had been knocked down and rebuilt once before. The first Hermitage mansion was built in 1830 by Scotsman's George Shee. She died before the mansion was completed. The land was bought by an Englishman, Otto Ives. Ives lived in the mansion for the rest of his life, died in 1853. Then the mansion was purchased by Irishman G.G. Brown, and it was Brown who rebuilt the mansion and knocked it down to build a new one. He passed the mansion down to his daughter, and she was the last owner of the home. The fire that destroyed the house in 1934 started as a result of a broken chimney. After the mansion collapsed, another smaller house was built with the ruins, and the smaller house still stands today, though slightly worn down, and the site is quite haunted. So the first ghost was William Black, who we heard about before. He did get married and he did live there, but unfortunately, his wife died. It was very sad. So Black was completely heartbroken and devastated by this, and he couldn't imagine living life without her. For this reason, it's believed that he took himself to the barn around the back of the house and hung himself from the rafters, Scotty.
Oh, boy.
The next morning, they found him, and they just found his body swaying. So since then, since people who have committed suicide cannot be buried in consecrated ground, Black's body was buried at the crossroads near the Hermitage Mansion. One of the roads that starts at the crossroad has become Ancaster's local Lover's Lane, and some people claim at night there's a moaning sound at the spot. Black's ghost is said to haunt the Hermitage Mansion. However, his ghost is said to rise from his grave and walk to the house while carrying a rope. He sometimes walks from the house to the grave or to the spot where he committed suicide. He is also sometimes seen as a dark figure standing above the ruins or as a body hanging from the tree. So we will be going to this place where this first ghost is. And the second ghost is Alma. So Alma was the daughter, if you recall, that was the final owner of the house. She died in the fire. She got out of the fire but died in a smaller house. So since her death, she's been wandering around the ruins. Most people agree that Alma was unhappy with the fact that the Hermitage Mansion was never rebuilt and nobody will ever see what it was again. The ghost of Alma seems to have the ability to create illusions of the past. It's not unusual for people to approach the ruins of the Hermitage Mansion and not see a ruin, but a grand and impressive mansion like it once was. This illusion will always fade, and then her ghost is seen afterwards. Ooh. So I have been to this location a couple of times, and it is well known as a haunted location. There's had tons of shit on Creepy Canada of people seeing things. So there's a picture of Anne and I went for a walk with our puppies.
I was just going to ask, is this the one you sent a picture of me when you went walking there?
Yeah. And I sat on the ledge, and this was a hot, hot, hot day. And this was an open space. And I kind of sat by this open window, and honestly, I felt this cool air, like it was AC, like air conditioning being blown onto me. And I could feel the back of my hair on my neck stand up. And I just got this creepy feeling. It was in where the smaller house is. And I had Anne, take the picture. Anne, take the fucking picture. And she's like, what's your problem? I'm like, and I walked away, and as I was turning the corner, I could feel the air get warmer again.
Oh, wow.
So I said to Anne, I'm like, can you go stand over there and just see if it's cold to you? She goes over, she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, you don't feel like a cold air blowing on you, like it's AC? She's like, Heather, it's like fucking hot outside. It's like, I don't know, what's 30 degrees Celsius, 35 degrees Celsius?
I think it's like 80 degrees.
80 degrees, right? I'm like, so you didn't feel anything? She's like, no, I didn't. I'm like, okay. So I am definitely a believer that this is a very active site. So this is where we'll be going. So what are your thoughts, Scotty? Are you excited?
I am, because this one actually sounds like a legit haunted place where the ghost tour of downtown Hamilton didn't really have like any feelings of a haunted place. Like I know there's a lot of history there. If that felt more like a nighttime history lesson, which
Yes, it was like
awesome.
a history tour, which was cool, but it wasn't.
Where this sounds like a legit, just like haunted place that I am down to check this out. I'm excited. I know Erica's excited as well. I think it's just going to be a lot of fun and probably going to be very creepy. I'm all
It
about
is. It's creepy. I've been there. I've walked by it several times. It's on part of my hiking trail, and I'll be real with you. I don't like walking by it during the day. I will walk around it. I won't go through it by myself. I will always take the very extended long. And there's people that eat there and have lunch. I'm sure and I'm there during the day, and I just get such an uneasy feeling when I'm there. It just definitely rubs me the wrong way. So this for me is a ghost tour that I haven't really done because I do find the Hermitage very scary, and I do believe the stories that have happened there. So it will be very fascinating for us to go. And I think at this point we may be the only people on the tour group.
Oh, really? Ooh,
yes.
Nice.
Yes. So it may be very private and intimate. So, and if the legends are true, ghosts have been known to show themselves to a group of peoples at the Hermitage. They don't seem to be shy. So
nice.
If you believe in that, of course.
Right.
You believe in that, of course, which I do.
Like, I'm skeptical, but I am not a non-believer.
The only other time I had that kind of creepy, uneasy feeling, and I'm not bringing this up just because of it. I was at a castle in England, and I had a friend of mine take a picture of me. Like I was on these stairs that led down from where the prisoners were kept, and I just felt really uneasy, like just this sense of like
yeah, because I think you may have brought that up on the show at one point.
Yeah, and that was the last time I kind of felt that. And hey, I'm not saying I'm no special person or anything like that, but there's things in this world we can't explain. So I'm so excited for you and Erica to experience this, for all of us to experience it together, and hopefully it doesn't turn into a found footage film.
If not, and hopefully, even though it was fun, hopefully a much more fun experience than the last time.
Well, there will be, I think, besides possibly a coyote or something like that, we probably won't run into anything.
Right.
There are wolves there, because I've run into wolves in that park. Because I thought they were huskies, and I was like, "Oh, look at those big huskies! Those aren't huskies."
Those aren't huskies.
And that was during a storm, and they looked at me like, "Why the fuck are you here?" I'm like, "Why the fuck am I here?" That's a good question. So we'll run through the trailers that we watched for Out of the Dark, Scott can go stuff his fat face, and I can go stuff my fat face as well.
Yeah, we decided to bring back an old topic of ours back in the day. If people remember listening to us from the very beginning, I think we did it for like 3, maybe 4 episodes, but like this was technically our Out of the Dark segment before it became Out of the Dark. We just watch the trailers and talk about them.
Yeah, so why don't you go about the first one, because I think you're most excited for this one.
Oh yeah, this is my next hyped film of the year, The Last Voyage of the Demeter, which is the story about the ship that has Dracula's coffin on board during the story of Bram Stoker's Dracula. And when it shows up to the mainland, there is no one left on board. Like, everyone's dead or missing. So this is kind of what happened on the ship. And the trailer, well, first I gotta say it's by the director Andre Overdahl, the guy that did Troll Hunter, Autopsy of Jane Doe, and Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. So right there I was like, all right, this guy's done some great shit. I'm excited, so I watched the trailer, and yeah, this is not your typical vampire type story, so to speak. Dracula does not look like a regular old human. He looks very much like a monster in this.
He looks like a creeping motherfucker.
Yeah, I was gonna say, looks very similar.
He looks like Rob Humphreys.
Yes, exactly.
I actually was like, Rob, I messaged him like, I didn't know you were in a movie this year. He's like, I hate you.
But yeah, I am so stoked for this. It has I've got to look up his name now, but he was in one of the movies we talked about recently, like I think during our Irish or Scottish episode. What the hell was the name of that movie? But
I'll look it up as well.
Yeah, he was the guy that was captured by the police, and he was in the jail cell, and shit just kept happening while he was in the cell, and he was basically death.
Oh yeah. Okay, Liam Cunningham?
Yes. Yeah, he was also Sir Davos, the Onion Knight from Game of Thrones. But yeah, he's in this. and he is a great fucking actor. So like seeing him as the
He
captain of the
is.
ship, I'm like, hell yes, I am so on board for this. It looks intense, it looks scary, and it looks like it's gonna be.
Oh
It looks
man,
like it's.
he's a fox too. He's a
Yeah, he's a good
mature
looking dude.
fox. He is. He's a good looking man.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on this?
Oh man, I agree with you, Scotty. I was like, fuck yeah, Scotty, bringing the power. I thought of my good friend Mark, who loves Bram Stoker's Dracula, and is actually, well, he is a writer, so Mark is a writer, and he's very familiar with the Legend of Dracula. So I know he's going to be watching this for sure because he's going to want to make sure it lines up. I will be going back to England later on this year, so if he doesn't watch it, I will show it to him because I think he'll really dig it. But your excitement for it was totally granted. It looks fucking well filmed. This is a theater watch. Like, this is a fucking theater watch. I cannot wait to take George. I think he'll love it. He's the only other one that watches horror movies besides you and Mark. When I go to England, I got 3 people in my life that watch horror movies. That's it. So I'm excited. I think it'll be fucking awesome.
Yeah, I cannot wait. August 11th can't get here soon enough.
For sure. Insidious, The Red Door.
Yeah, so
they're like, bringing Insidious back. We're bringing Insidious back.
Yeah,
you other motherfuckers don't know how to act. Well, that's your demon better watch your back.
I'm just waiting for her to get through singing Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, I know. It was kind of funny though. That was kind of impressive, was it not?
It was, because it's gonna be May.
Because it's gonna be May. Anyway.
But yeah, so yeah, I believe this is supposed to be the last part to Insidious, the final, like kind of like the final chapter or whatever, the Red Door. I watched all 4 of the Insidious films during my first time watches when we started this podcast, and I found them to be pretty good. They were
entertaining.
Yeah, they were entertaining. And this looks like a little more of the same, maybe a little more darker. Like there were some things that they showed in the trailer. I'm going, ooh, that doesn't feel like Insidious to me. That feels a little more horror-ish than I expected. But yeah, it still has that Insidious vibe to it. And everybody seems to be. I don't know if the brothers are back, but what's her name? Lynn Shay is back. I don't know if her team is back with her, but
I don't know if it's her vision too. Like I don't know if it's her on videotape or if she's actually right. Honestly, I feel like before I see this movie though, I need to rewatch the other ones because I honestly don't remember. Like I don't remember enough of the other films. Like I remember the third one was a prequel.
Yep.
Right? But fuck me, I don't remember the other 4. So like I feel like, and watching the trailer, I'm like, fuck, I better watch the other one before I see this one.
It's
or
funny
I'm gonna be fucking lost, right?
Funny because that's exactly what I was saying to myself, going, shit, I might have to rewatch these because I'm like drawing a blank on what's going on.
Like I'm like, why is he? So Patrick Wilson's directing this one.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So James Wan did the first ones. Not Leah Wynell. Adam Robitel. Is that right? Okay. Sure. And then Patrick Wilson. So, yeah, it will be interesting to see. I'm interested to see how it goes. It's an Insidious film. You know, you could tell already, like jump to jump to jump to jump, to jump to jump. Like it's gonna be jump scares.
Exactly.
With demons. But hey, you know what? At least it doesn't try to be something that it's not.
Right, and it's continuing what it's done before, so it's fine. Like I'm totally for it.
And you know what's interesting? Like Sinister, I'm surprised they never made a real franchise with. I think the second one, it did poorly compared to the first one. It didn't do as well. Right? It would have been interesting if they had been able to pull it off with Sinister. I give these guys credit. To do 5 movies is pretty good in a franchise. Right. And that makes it a franchise. That makes it a franchise that maybe we should talk about a little bit more, right?
Exactly. And then, the next one is a A24 film, Talk to Me.
Oh, man, this looks so fucking good.
Yeah, I was going to say, like I was saying before, like, I'm not a big fan of most supernatural films. Like, I think they're all right. This one looks legit fucking creepy.
It looks so fucking interesting. I love the concept. It's almost like they're using the monkey paw concept in a different way, and fuck, it looks good. I cannot wait for this movie to be fucking dropped. It's released on July 28th, and fuck yeah, sign me up for summer, man. I'm take it or leave it with A24. I like some of their stuff. I either love their stuff, think it's okay, or think it's weird as fuck. It's usually along those lines. I think I'm gonna fucking dig this shit right here.
Yeah, I'm stoked to see this. I will definitely be trying to see it in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I love about A24 is it seems to be whenever they release a trailer, it makes you think it is one thing and then ends up being a completely different thing in the movie.
Yeah,
So I'm
they
like,
are
yep,
good with that.
they are
Yeah.
good at deceiving the audience and making them like making you not sure exactly what is going to happen in the film. And yeah, I am all for that because yeah, this looks creepy as fuck. Sign me up.
Yeah, and those are 3 movies to look forward to.
Yeah.
I think one of them, Insidious, you know what you're walking into, right? Like, I don't know. If you didn't like the other Insidious films, don't watch this upcoming one because you're probably not going to like it. But the other 2, I don't know. I think they look cool. I think they look like a lot of fun.
Yeah, I am. Like, it looks like we have at least some promising horror films to look forward to because we were talking about earlier. Like, is there really even much like that's been announced coming out at the end of the year? And as we did some digging, yeah, there are some things. So yeah,
And they have dialogue.
Yeah, exactly.
Sound. People talking. I'm really excited for that. Talkies are a big deal this year. Talkie films.
They're the first of their kind.
First of their kind. But thank you as always for joining us here on the Friday Nightmares. We do appreciate it. You can find us on the Kill the Cast feed, which you hopefully already did, under the Legion Podcast Network. If you are not a Patreon member yet, there is a Patreon page for Legion where you can go on and get early access to shows and codes and lots of cool shit on there. And if you are not a Patreon yet, Scotty has one question for you.
What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Join us.
Put dialogue in movies. So definitely you can join us at the Legion Podcast Network. Scotty and I will continue our 2023 watches like the champions that we are, the true podcasting heroes that watch the movies and bring you. Even Mickey just lifted his head. Mickey, my dog, right now looked at me like, "You ain't no fucking hero, mama."
No,
I see the shit you watched.
Goes, "You're my hero, mama."
Oh yeah, I'm sure that's exactly what he was thinking. Thank you, Scott, for that positive reinforcement. I appreciate it. But I don't know. Thank you as always. Scotty and I are going to go on a ghost hunt. Going on a ghost hunt. Going on a ghost hunt. Going to catch the big one. Going to catch the big one. You probably don't know that song, but it's called Going on a Bear Hunt and it's for preschoolers and you clap your knees.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Right.
I do know that.
Hopefully we don't make the Blair Bitch Project, Canadian style, where I'm like grabbing a camera and I'm like, I'm sorry to Scott's mom. I'm sorry to Erica's mom. I'm sorry to George's mom. I'm sorry to Amber and Amber's mom, Dave's mom, and everyone else's mom. Not my mom, because fuck you, mom!
Wow. Miss Powell, did you hear that?
Right? And like it's Heather, in the Blair Witch Project. So it only makes sense that we should have Heather in the Blair Bitch Project.
Totally does.
Right? We're gonna make a found footage film.
It's That Bitch Project.
That Bitch Project. And it's just like me chasing down Tim. But until, I don't know, do you have anything else to say to the good people, Scotty?
Well, you sound like you were about to say it.
I know, I was about to say your line. My bad.
Until next time, kiddies. Unpleasant dreams.
See you. Keep dialogue in films.
Please.
Please, for the love of God.
All right. And end scene.